take another one. 312, already jumping.
Good morning. I'm just going to quickly give you an update on our Treasury, where it stands at the moment. We began the year of 2008 with $3,831.06 in our operating account and $65,000 in our Fund for Excellence. On December 31st, we closed with an operating account of $16,060, and our Fund for Excellence was $60,009.16. During the year, I had transferred $5,000 from our Fund for Excellence into our operating account to cover the expenses that were taking place. But as you can see, from the end of the year, we went from $3,000 to $16,000 in our operating account, so we had a very healthy year. And a lot of that was thanks to Louisville. As a result of their conference, we ended up with a profit from them of $5,278.31. So not only was it a great conference, but it also was a nice financial boost for our institution. So congratulations to the Louisville folks. The full copy will be either online at our website or in the journal, so you will, if you're interested in seeing all the figures, it will be available to you. Thank you.
And we have a report from our membership chair, Joanne Pinkston McDuffie.
Thank you, Debbie, and good morning, Piper Southeast. We opened the conference with 170 members, and we're ending with 192 members. And as of last night, I think North Carolina, of course, our host state, had the highest number of registrants. I will be sending out an updated post-conference report for all of the state members. We'd like to continue to encourage our state reps, as well as all TICA members, to seek membership, particularly of adjuncts as well as full-time faculty. The use of PayPal is, of course, still easy and convenient method of submitting your payment. However, we're aware that some people do not bank or use online features for submitting their payment. On last year, we worked through drafting of a brochure. However, due to budget restraints, the publication of it was put on hold. So I kind of gripped my fingers and toes and went to my department chair and asked about publishing a brochure. And he said, of course. So Daytona State College School of Humanities and Communication funded the publication of 250 brochures. So I have brochures if you'd like some to take back to your campus as a recruitment tool. Thank you.
Betty Weldon has reappeared, so Betty, our secretary's report.
Okay, this is my last secretary's report. I'm rolling off this year, so I just want to tell you, while I have the opportunity, thank you for all your support. I also want to thank you for coming last year to the Louisville conference and supporting us there too. It was so wonderful to have so many of you come to Louisville. The Secretary's report is very short. The minutes of this conference will be in the Spring Journal, and we think they're also going to be on the website. So look for the minutes in those two places. Thank you.
Okay, and we have our representative to National TICA, Thad Cockrell, who's also giving his final report as he is rotating off. Guess not. Yeah. Okay. We have Myrna Narcross with a report from the Institute of Technical Communication.
Thank you, Debbie. Good morning, everyone. I just want to give everybody a little bit of background about the Institute of Technical Communication for those of you who are newbies, and perhaps some of you that are veterans may not be entirely sure of what this program is. The Institute in Technical Communication, fondly known as ITC, is a week-long, 6-day interactive workshop led by technical communication experts and practitioners. And the participants leave the Institute with a whole host and array of ideas that you can immediately apply to the classroom. Very similar to what we do here at the conference. We find new ideas and get back to our institutions and apply those. I think what is confusing to some is really what is technical communication, especially in terms of its relationship with perhaps business and professional writing. Really, technical communication is the umbrella over what we know as business and professional writing. So it's really the idea of conveying technical information through writing, speech, and of course now in our age through other media. And deliverables, they can include a number of different things: business and professional reports, training manuals, and promotional materials such as bulletins and brochures. So if you are interested in jumping into a different arena of communication, if you're perhaps more literature-based or just strictly composition, attending ITC is a great way to get your feet wet and literally be able to jump in and teach such a course at your home institution. Just a little bit about the history of ITC. It is from Mississippi. 1981, I believe Nellie Pickett and Ann Laster were very heavily involved, and it was held for a number of summers in Mississippi. More recently, it has been in South Carolina. I believe one of my good friends and colleagues, Mike Williams, hosted ITC, I believe, for 4 years in Myrtle Beach. More recently, ITC was held at my institution, Tri-County Technical College, in 2007. So right now, what I would like to do is ask everyone to consider being a host institution to host ITC in 2010. And I believe there is some interest for it to go back to Mississippi, but we don't want to leave anyone out. TICA Southeast has funds that are underneath an ITC account in terms of funding to get you started for that. So if you have any interest in your institution hosting that, please come and see me. I've got business cards. And we really hope that we can get ITC off and running again in 2010. Thank you.
And we have Thad Cockrell with our report for National TICA.
Good morning. Just to remind you of a few things that you've probably heard about already, I want to add a reminder that about something Eric talked to us about at lunch yesterday, and that's the National Day on Writing, which is October 20th, 2009. It's sponsored by NCTE, and it's an event that's designed to showcase the vast range of writing in which Americans of all trades, professions, careers, work, engage. And I think one of the most interesting examples that Kent Williamson used when he told us about this at NCTE in San Antonio was the image of a farmer on a combine texting his workers to keep in touch. And that's the sort of writing that they want submitted to the National Gallery on Writing. It's going to be, it's a virtual gallery, isn't it, Eric? To highlight the different types of communication. And we are encouraged to enlist participation from all segments of our communities. So if I can give you any more information about that, please email me or contact me in some way, and I'll pass that along. Last year at Four Seas in New Orleans, several of us met, 5 or 6 of us met from the various regions the day before the conference to do a little bit of workshopping on conference planning. And I don't know how many of you would be interested in this, but next month, March the 14th, I think it is, at 4 Cs in San Francisco. Some of you may be headed that way. I know some of you are, and some of you may be headed that way that I don't know about. But if you're interested in talking to some people from one of the other 7 regions about practices that we have in the Southeast that you think make for successful conferences, I would encourage you to attend that workshop. We have an excellent conference planners handbook that Laura put together for us, Laura Hammonds put together for us a couple of years ago, and I think that's one of the, I mean, it sounds like a really dry thing to read, but I have to tell you, Laura made it quite engaging reading. It's humorous, I don't think she left any stone unturned, and I think we can be really proud of that. So if you're interested in sharing some of our ideas at 4 Cs, I encourage you to check that out. And while I'm talking about 4 Cs, even if you're not particularly interested in conference planning, if you are headed to 4 Cs, I hope you will make your presence known as a TICA person so that we can show our strength in numbers at the national conference. Our prominence as 2-year college teachers of English has grown immensely over the last 15 years or so, and I think we need to stick together at these large conferences, attend the TICA breakfast, which is Saturday morning, the last day of the conference, or toward the end of the conference, and just network with each other and let people know that we are 2-year college teachers. Seems like there was one other thing that I wanted to mention, but I don't think it... No, I know what it was. I just wanted to say thank you to all of you for allowing me to serve these past 3 years as your representative to National TICA. It was a wonderful thing to do after being the journal editor, which was something I enjoyed immensely. And I am delighted to say that Bev will be following me as our representative to National TICA rather than my following Bev, which I would never want to do. So I don't see that. There she is right there. So thank you so much, Bev, for... Thank you all.
We have a couple of matters of business we need to talk about. One is that we're going to add something new to our website, an e-letter that our web tender is going to put together for us, Sharon Gerald. One of the issues you're going to see there is, I don't know if we'll do it by blog or survey, to judge your opinion on whether you would like to see this conference operate as a 2-day, Friday, Saturday, as we did in Huntsville, or 3-day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, as we did here. Sometimes that's out of our hands. It's determined by the hotel. But we'd just like to kind of judge how you feel about that issue. Another is going to be concerning the journal and the cost of producing that journal. We've been experiencing our own TED offensive, as I heard Joel say in our last presentation, tough economic times. And we need to judge how you feel about how our journal looks. If cost forces some changes, we need to know how you feel about producing one journal a year with a perfect binding, and that's the binding that looks like a book, a flat binding. Or, if you would prefer instead to continue to have 2 a year, that might be stapled in this format, as you have under conference program. And I want to open the floor for just a couple of minutes for discussion that will then continue on the e-newsletter, I hope, or on our website. Any discussion, any preference?
If you use a perfect bind, is there a limit to how many pages you can use on others for a staple?
Not certain.
So if you did...
Can Michael answer that? or Thad, who has produced the journal?
I think that you have to have 68 pages to have the perfect binding. That's about the minimum number of pages that will support that spine she's talking about that goes down the side where you can put the volume number and that sort of information. I think 68 pages is the minimum. And I don't think we ever had, when I was editor, we never had a problem filling 68 pages. And I'll add to what, well, I'll chime in on this. I really like the perfect binding myself. I know it's a little more expensive. I think it looks, I think it gives a more serious impression is the only word that comes to my mind right now. And I think if we're going to have a journal, I think it needs to be something that looks fairly serious. Rather than, well, I think it should look fairly serious.
If it's just once a year, when we have the same number of the same number of pages total, will all articles and other information go in just one time, and it will be the same amount of information?
This is yet to be determined. We're just trying to feel our way to see how the membership feels. So then your preference would be to have a meatier journal one time a year
It would be
with
a
the
lot
perfect
easier
binding.
to find with the perfect binding. It'd be nice to have it there for a lot of reasons, but I would hate to see any of the information that's produced the 2 times a year not included. Cutting the number of pages per year would be my concern, and it would be nice to have it once a year. That'd be fine, but to have just as much information, just as many articles.
All right, thank you.
I agree with that. I think that the perfect binding is a much better look that I'd like to see us continue with. And if it means going to once a year, I think that would probably be fine with me, especially if we don't sacrifice content. And I think it would make sense with the way that things are evolving to then certainly increase the role of the website. And I know Shannon's made some big changes to that already, and I can see that continuing to grow to sort of fill that information vacuum that we have relied on the journal for. And I can see the website growing in the same way that one issue of the journal would.
We have time for one more comment. Yes.
I'll just play devil's advocate. I want to. I mean, that's just all there is to it. I read the journal cover to cover. I want to read it twice a year, and I know that, you know, it may go the way of the snail darter and everything else, but if there's any way to have it twice, I would, you know, after one that comes out after the conference and then one that comes out in the fall to get you wrapped up for the next conference. As an old timer, I just like that.
And if our finances allow, that is what we want to see happen. Now, we do want this conversation to continue, but we will need to do that just because of time constraints this morning. We do have a speaker who's with us. We will have to continue this discussion through our website. So if you would be looking there within the next week, that's the first update I think Sharon will be making to our website. A place for us to continue this conversation. So if you had a comment you want to make today, write it down. Don't forget it. Make sure you're willing to share that with your REC. Okay? Good. All right then. Next order of business. I'm going to ask our past chair, Joel Henderson, to make his way to the front. We have some service awards that he's going to make out. And actually, I've got one more thing to do, but come on up, Joel. Okay, first, one more order of business. We have our nominating committee. I have a very efficient committee. I have their report in hand for the year. And Betsy Griffey is going to talk to you a bit. Sorry. Eliza Young, is Eliza still with us? Yes. Good, Eliza.
Liz and I have filled in for Don Andrews this week, and we'll send a report to him about the work of the nominating committee. On Thursday, we presented you a slate to vote on, and on Friday, we presented you two new people for the REC, and today we present you an opportunity The opportunity is to be on the nominating committee for next year's slate. And the work of the nominating committee, of course, is done from your own home, from your own computers, from your own telephone lines. And it should have 3 people on it to represent a broad geographical base. People who know about TICA and TICA personnel, and at the same time, people who want an opportunity to begin working with TICA. So we're going to open the floor now for 3 nominations for the slate. Susan?
I'd like to nominate Charles Myers.
Charles Myers. Yes, I know him. He is from Florida. He is known to this group, has some experience. Thad is standing up.
I'd like to nominate Laura Deering.
Laura Deering. And Laura is from Kentucky. And Betty?
I'd like to nominate Liz Young to serve again.
Liz Young to remain on the committee. Susan?
I'd like to vote to close the nomination.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we close the nominations. And may I assume that that means to accept this slate by acclamation? It is so moved, it is so seconded and thirded. And all in favor, please say TICA. Thank you very much. And if momentarily the 3 new people can meet with Liz and me right after, we will do the passing of the materials. Thank you very much, everybody, for being really very good about this. Everything has gone quite smoothly, and I thank you for that.
And I'd just like to add that Betsy's a wonderful person to work with, and I just enjoyed working on the committee. And we'll miss you next year working with us. I'll be here.